This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Wednesday, August 3rd. Let's check out today's top stories. Dr. Tim Hudson, who served as the Arkansas State University Chancellor since 2012, resigned from his post Tuesday evening, according to information released by the school. ASU President Dr. Chuck Welch appointed ASU Provost and Vice Chancellor for Affairs Lanita Cooksey as the interim chancellor. Hudson's wife had come under scrutiny for her involvement in the school's study abroad program. She has since resigned her position following an internal audit. School officials remained mum as to if the resignation was related to the audit investigation. Following 2 consecutive years of recovery, 2016 is shaping up to be a rough year for Van Buren-based USA Truck, with the company posting a $1.3 million loss in the second quarter and a $3.1 million loss for the first half of the year. Company officials said rapidly falling shipping rates hit the company in the quarter. USA Truck plans to downsize its fleet and workforce. Talk Business and Politics' Michael Tilley offers an explanation.
Well, certainly USA Truck had a rough quarter, had a rough first half of the year after having 2 really stellar years in 2014, 2015. What they're doing is a couple of key things they're doing: cutting the number of high-cost equipment, getting that out of the fleet, getting less fuel-efficient trucks out of the fleet. That includes 2012, 2013 models. That may not sound like a long time ago, but it is in terms of fuel efficiency. The main thing they're doing, though, in terms of reduction in force, they're not offering a number as to how many fewer truckers or fewer employees they have at their Van Buren corporate headquarters or out in their terminals, but they did see a 14% drop in their SGA line item, which is salary, wages, and benefits. That fell from $73.5 million for the first 6 months of 2015 to $63.2 million for this year. Again, a 14% drop. Now, many factors come into that: trucker pay, temp pay, executive pay, but that 14% number is not an insignificant number, and it'll be interesting to see how that continues to move through the rest of the year.
The jobless rate for all metro areas in or connected to Arkansas rose in June compared to May, but year-over-year job growth continued in the state's largest metropolitan areas. Jobless rates range from a low of 3.1% in northwest Arkansas to a high of 5.7% in the Pine Bluff and Memphis-West Memphis metros. There were an estimated 48,742 new jobs in Arkansas between June 2015 and June 2016. U.S. Senator Tom Cotton said Tuesday that Donald Trump should apologize to the family of a slain Muslim American Army captain, along with other families who have lost loved ones in combat, but he still supports Donald Trump's candidacy. Cotton also called for the building of a fence on the southern U.S. border with Mexico. He spoke to the Political Animals Club on Tuesday and made those comments. Tom Cotton will be our guest in studio tomorrow on Talk Business and Politics Daily. And those are your top stories of the day. You can check out a full read on those articles and much more at our website at talkbusiness.net. After this word from our sponsors, a familiar face returns to Arkansas's airwaves. New KATV anchor Chris May is our guest. We'll go inside the numbers for a look at some political calculation. And later, part 1 of our 2-part debate. Republican Representative Michelle Gray and Democratic Representative Eddie Armstrong. They were at their parties' respective conventions. We'll talk politics when we come back.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Well, Chris May reported and anchored Channel 7 News from 1993 to 1998. He went off to Boston and Philadelphia for the next 17, 18 years, and he now returns, and we are glad to have him back with us. Welcome back to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Thank you so much. It's the best place in the world, Roby. I'm so excited to be back and to be in this building again. It's a really great feeling.
It's changed a little bit. This set's at least changed.
A
Maybe
little
not
bit.
the other sets. So
But
much.
it still feels the same, and that's what matters, and it's still the great town that I grew up in and that I love. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what Boston and Philadelphia were like. Great cities. You just got out of Philadelphia in time to miss the Democratic convention.
Exactly. just missed it. And it was actually, I've covered 7 conventions over the years, starting in 1996 with KATV, then in 2004, 2008, 2012. So I love the conventions. I was sorry to miss this one. But Boston and Philadelphia were both great towns, great sports towns. We loved being there, great news markets, a lot of excitement, a lot of it breaking news. But there's no place like home. You know, there's no place like home. So I'm certainly glad to be back.
I know you're a Razorback fan.
Yes.
Are you an Eagles fan, or are you a Patriots fan?
We slowly converted. We kind of felt like, having not grown up with professional teams in Arkansas, that we could kind of affiliate with whoever town we were in at the time. So we were in Boston for a great sports time, with the Red Sox winning World Series, with the Patriots winning Super Bowls. Philadelphia is a very passionate sports town as well, so we were able to kind of invest in the Phillies and the Eagles and the 76ers as well. It was always a great time.
What are you looking forward to the most about being back?
You know, I think just being back home, being with family and friends, being in familiar places, covering familiar people, and just being a part of the state of Arkansas. You know, when you're born here and you're raised here, I think there's something about it that never leaves you, no matter where you go, no matter what adventures you pursue, which is what I felt like I've done over the past 18 years, is just pursued adventures and pursued opportunities. But we always stayed close to home. And so now to be here full time and to be able to enjoy this great state again every day is going to be something special.
Well, we are glad to have you back, and we will be working a lot with you. Talk Business and Politics, Channel 7, great content partners there. I know we've got plenty of politics to cover this fall. And there's always stuff happening on the business front, too.
To say the least, yes. We sure do.
All right, thank
Great
you,
to be with you, Roby.
Appreciate you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
All right, he's Chris May. You're going to see a lot of him on Channel 7, our content partner here at Talk Business and Politics. A quick break. We'll be joined by Representatives Michelle Gray and Eddie Armstrong. They've been to Cleveland and Philadelphia recently. Can they defend their candidates for president? We're going to find out after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us, in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
Numbers, numbers, numbers. We love numbers, and politics certainly revolves around numbers and data. So let's take a look at 3 key numbers that are playing out in the current political climate. The number 3, there are 3 Democrats who have announced their intentions to fill the nomination for Representative Sheila Lampkin's seat in Drew and Ashley counties. Representative Lampkin passed away a week ago after a battle with cancer. The Democrats will fill the nomination at a convention later this week for the chance to face an already decided Republican challenger in November. $1,075,594. That's the amount of money that will be spent renovating 2 committee rooms at the state capitol, rooms 138 and 151 on the north end of the capitol. They're slated for improvements. Lawmakers plan to use a combination of existing budget funds and a Natural and Cultural Resources Council grant to restore the rooms to their original aesthetic look. The number's 40, and 32. That's how many delegates the two political parties from Arkansas cast at their respective conventions in Cleveland and Philadelphia. Republicans cast 40 delegates, with 16 going to Donald Trump, 15 to Ted Cruz, 9 to Marco Rubio. Democrats cast 32 delegates, with 22 going to Hillary Clinton and 10 going to Bernie Sanders. We're going to talk some presidential politics when we come back. Two Arkansas House members who were delegates for their parties join us, Representative Eddie Armstrong and Representative Michelle Gray, when we come back.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
2 weeks ago in Cleveland, 1 week ago in Philadelphia, Republicans and Democrats held their respective party conventions to nominate Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton for president. Joining me to talk politics are two representatives who were there. Representative Michelle Gray, Republican from Melbourne, Representative Eddie Armstrong, Democrat from North Little Rock. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Let's talk about what the conventions were like. You were there, you were on the floor, you were behind stage, you were kind of all over the place. Representative Gray, I'll start with you. Just how electrifying was it to be at a party convention?
It was amazing. I'm not sure about Representative Armstrong, but this was my first time to attend a convention, so I didn't know what to expect. And we actually went up to Cleveland 2 days before the convention started. So we were exhausted by the time it started, but it was neat as each day went, as we progressed to that fourth day, the energy just built and built and built. It was amazing, just to the grand finale of, Trump finally addressing the crowd and in a record-breaking length speech. But it was amazing. The entire crowd was just on fire by the end of it.
You hooked? You want to go back for another one?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, she'll never miss another one again. What about you?
I'm in for the ride again, too. I mean, to Representative Gray's point, it was my first time ever. And to be a newbie in something like that is life-changing, a quite remarkable experience to watch history be made as we nominated the first female ever in the country's history to be our hopeful next president of the United States. I can attest to some of the long moments of hour after hour that went by with some of those speeches, but just to be in a space and place with individuals from all over the country, each state represented, very diverse crowds of individuals, young and old, black and white. You could tell that there was just a real electric energy for what we were imparting upon, and happy to be home, I'll tell you that, and get some rest.
So Representative Gray, what was the mood kind of after, both conventions got off to bumpy starts, no doubt about that, but then it kind of, I guess climaxed or got better and progressed as the week went on there. Just kind of, when you were watching that happen, was there the expectation that they were going to eventually kind of work out some of the kinks here, or did you kind of, at the beginning of the week, you're like, what have I stepped into?
Exactly. We were a little nervous going up there, not knowing exactly what would happen. But I tell you, because we had the issue of, the Cruz possible nominee and changing of the rules, and then we also had expected protests, so we weren't sure what to expect. I can tell you, I have never seen more police officers, Secret Service. There were snipers, helicopters, and I'm sure you guys had the same thing. I felt completely safe there. So that part was great, and there were protests, which is wonderful. They were all the protests were done, well. There, no one was hurt. Peaceful protests, I guess. No, great example of First Amendment, freedom of speech, and then. It was just amazing, Yeah. And then the rules, we had Congressman, Womack, they put him in.
That's right, he gavelled it down.
I know, so we had
quickly.
Arkansas was really at the forefront, I guess, in both conventions. So we had Steve, Congressman Womack up there to keep the rules straight and be parliamentary procedure. And then we had, after the nominee, after Trump was nominated, then Governor Hutchinson spoke and addressed the crowd. And I played hooky one night, and he did catch me playing hooky that one night, so I made sure I was on the floor while he spoke and showed him the video, just so he knew I was there.
That's good.
And then we had our Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge, up next. So
right.
What
Senator
started
Cotton
out?
spoke on Monday
yes,
night
Senator
as well.
Scott.
We saw that.
What was the mood at the Democratic convention? The email scandal from WikiLeaks kind of busted everything out. The Bernie Sanders supporters, they were very vocal. Were you kind of worried that it might not come together? There was a lot of turmoil at the beginning of the Democratic convention.
Well, the beautiful thing about the protest that we experienced is that it didn't quite go away. I mean, throughout the entire week, there was inside and outside protests, and the thing that made it really unique was the harmony that was made on the closing night when those protests started to die down, when Bernie Sanders finally made his statements about endorsing Hillary Clinton, not only from his home state, but from the main stage. And we truthfully respected and were grateful for some of those young people and their energy they had to still stand behind Bernie Sanders. And what you saw on that final night when Secretary Clinton got up to make a statement about bringing us together and making us stronger together and being able to work past our differences, especially in the face of what Bernie Sanders was able to do. We were pretty nervous at first, I guess you could say, but it was nothing that anybody let show on the front lines. I mean, from Debbie Wasserman Schultz to the emails that dropped. A lot of that was probably behind the scenes chatter, but the energy was just so electric and so high for what was hopeful to come with Secretary Clinton. And then if you were an Arkansan, you got a front row seat. We were first 7 rows, stage right, and in every comment of somebody, some sort, when they talked about the Clinton family, Chelsea, President Clinton, and or Hillary, you had to mention Arkansas. And so there was a lot of pom-pom waving.
Balloon is what you're telling me. You were that close to the action.
Yeah.
So, all right. So last question for you. I'll start with Representative Armstrong. We'll come across to Representative Gray. How united are the Democrats? And I'm going to ask you how united the Republicans are. How united is your party coming out of the convention?
I think, let's be truthful. What you got a chance to see from the Bernie Sanders supporters really spoke tried and true to what we have to do to work towards the next 90-plus days of getting Hillary elected. In all hindsight, I think we're more united than ever before because we don't have some of the issues that our colleagues on the right side of the aisle have to worry about. They are really in a disenfranchised place, unfortunately, because of their leader at the top of the ticket. But I think with Hillary's message of being able to create more jobs, being able to make certain we focus on energy, adopting Bernie Sanders' agenda and putting it into her agenda, said a lot about bringing us closer together. Now the real work must be done in the next 90-plus days to get us fully on board, all as one, all together to go to the polls and vote. So I'd say right now we're operating at an A-, but on election day we'd hopefully get to an A+.
All right, he got that talking point in there, Representative Gray. Skewered you a little bit
did,
there
I
on
know.
that. So how united are the Republicans? Do you think?
See, I beg to differ with him on that. After Cruz spoke, which we didn't know ahead of time that
I'm not sure anyone did.
No, I know, except Mr. Trump. He apparently had seen the speech and approved it and said, I'm going to let you speak anyhow, even if you don't endorse me. So we weren't aware of that up front. And he, kind of got booed out of the arena. And I wondered at that point in time what was going to happen.
Were you one of them booing?
I was. I'll be honest. I'm not going to lie. My thing was whether you like Senator Cruz or you don't, or Trump, whichever side of the aisle you're on, he signed a pledge and he agreed. His word was his word. He agreed to support the nominee and what the people wanted. So that was what I was upset about, is that he wouldn't come out and keep his word. Yeah. If you can't trust him now, would I be able to trust him in a presidential election 4 years from now or 8 years from now? So that was my issue. But as it went on and as we got to learn and meet and they introduced Governor Pence, I think a lot of the Cruz supporters were more comfortable because Mr. Trump chose someone who was much more conservative than he was and kind of brought him back towards where Senator Cruz had been. But and that's a lot of the Cruz supporters have said, we're on board with the nominee, we're ready to go. So we had a hiccup, but I feel fairly unified right now. Okay. And that's one of our big things that I see, the shift a little bit in the Republican Party. Disagreement gets us where we are. I mean, you can't, if it was a dictatorship, none of us would want to live here. So we need those disagreements and so we can ultimately find the best for our country.
All right, Representative Gray, Representative Armstrong, I want you kids to stick around because we're going to do a segment for tomorrow's Daily Show also. So you guys promise you'll stay?
Promise,
All
thank
right,
you.
Sounds good. That is all for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. Thank you for watching. Check us out online at talkbusiness.net for the latest in business and politics.